Jeremiah Anthony. I'm from Iowa City, Iowa. I go to West High School in Iowa City, Iowa. And I'm going to tell you about the power of words. Now, before I tell you what you can do, I'm going to talk about what I've done. One day I was sitting in an auditorium much like this one, listening to a speaker on stage like this one. And she was talking about bullying. She was saying, bullying is bad, don't be a bully, all that stuff. And everyone in the auditorium agreed. I agreed, bullying is bad. And I wanted to know, how do we solve bullying? I mean, you can't say a problem is bad and then give people no solution to it. So she gave a solution, or at least she thought it was a solution, and it was, don't be a bully. Yeah, you're laughing. That's what I was doing when I heard it. I was thinking, you're joking, right? You gave us an hour-long speech about how you're bullied, how bullying is bad, and now you expect us to walk out and think the solution to bullying is to not be bullied. So after the speech, I started thinking, well, I agree that bullying is bad. I want to end bullying. How do we end it? How do we stop bullying? So I decided to tackle the problem at the roots. Why do people bully? I remember my guidance counselor once told me, and the rest of my class, that people bully because they have a lack of self-esteem. They want to validate themselves by pushing others down, and they think that means that they get raised up. And they just want some recognition. So I thought, well, how can we give people recognition, self-esteem, and make them feel good about themselves without bullying them? Compliments, just saying nice things to people. That's what I came up with. So how do I deliver these compliments? I can't track people down and say, hey, you're really good at math. It takes too much time. So by chance, I had just started my own personal Twitter account, and so I was still on that, wowee, Twitter's awesome. And I decided to make a Twitter account that complimented people. And I started complimenting people, initially my friends, the bullies. My friends weren't the bullies. Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. They're mean sometimes. But my friends, bystanders, and the bullies, and just everyone really that I knew, well, they liked the compliments, thankfully. And they started telling their friends, and then their friends started telling their friends, and the follower count kept on growing and growing. One day, I was sitting at lunch, or I just sat down for lunch, and I got a phone call. So I went to a quiet place, and I took it. And it was this really old lady voice. And I thought it was someone's grandmother who called me on accident. And she said, hello? And so I said, hey. Is this Jeremiah? Yeah, I'm Jeremiah. Turns out it was Lady Gaga. And she was about to do, well, she wasn't about to. She was in South Africa. She had a few concerts there. And she heard about what I was doing. She found out my number from the school district. And she called me. And she said, well, what you're doing is really great. I hope you have a paparazzi. Were you born this way? No, I'm kidding. She didn't say any of that. She just introduced herself. She just introduced herself, said, great job, and then hung up and did her Lady Gaga stuff. I don't know. And so then I finished the phone call, put my phone away, sat back down for lunch, and then someone called me to the principal's office. And when I was walking there, I was thinking, I just want to eat lunch. Can I just eat lunch? And so I walked to the principal's office thinking I was in trouble for receiving a call from Lady Gaga. And I sat down. Turns out a producer from the NBC Today Show called the school and said, hey, we're coming over from Chicago, and we're going to interview Jeremiah Anthony about West Side Bros in 3 hours. So 3 hours later, I am sitting in my school library with Kevin Tibbles from the NBC Today Show, who, by the way, is a really nice guy. And we talked for a total of 4 hours, I think, and they only used 10 minutes of footage. an actual thing. Or maybe even less than that, maybe 5 minutes. About 4 hours. I guess that's the TV business. Yeah, we talked for 4 hours. He grills me. And right before the interview, I called my mom. And like any great parent, she doesn't pick up the phone. And so I leave a message saying, Mom, I'm going to be late for dinner because I will be doing an interview for the Today Show. Then I hang up. And then I do the interview. Then the next morning, I didn't actually see the interview because I had gym class and they wouldn't let me get out of gym class because I need physical education. Yeah. So everyone else was like, hey, we saw you on the Today Show. And I was like, yeah, I didn't see myself on the Today Show. Actually, the person who saw me last on the Today Show was my dad. Because someone said, hey, Professor Anthony, I think your son's on the Today Show. And he was pretty happy about it when he found out. But within 1 hour of the airing of the Today Show interview, the follower count of Westside Bros went up by 4,000. I think 4,000, that was just within an hour. And then it got bigger and bigger. Now we're worldwide, we're in 6 continents, 20 countries, 16 languages. The idea has spread to campuses, or college campuses, high schools, junior highs, and elementary schools all across America, well over 1,000 different accounts inspired by Westside Bros. So that was pretty cool. But see, I knew the spread was really good, but the people and the opinions that I really wanted were the people who really needed the compliments. See, I've never been bullied, I've never been depressed or suicidal, but I wanted to know what depressed, bullied, and suicidal people felt about the compliments from Westside Bros. So I tried to find out, but ultimately, my efforts failed. But one day I was standing in the lunch line. See, a lot of good things happen during lunch. But I was standing there, and this girl came up and hugged me. And I don't get many hugs. So I'm thinking, you must be hugging the wrong person. So I asked her, why'd you hug me? And she said, well, I was going to kill myself last night. So I went onto Facebook, and I was going to type out my suicide note, because apparently that's what people do nowadays. But I saw a compliment from you guys. And it made me realize that my life has worth and that I shouldn't kill myself, that killing myself would be a really bad idea. And so I was a little floored by that. And then a series of similar stories, people saying the compliments stopped them from killing themselves, occurred. So I decided to help start up a hotline, or suicide hotline for teenagers, where teenagers help other teenagers deal with their problems if they're suicidal. So yeah, that's the story of Westside Bros. Now I'm going to tell you about what you can do. If you think you're too young to do anything, look around you. There's so many young people around you who are doing great things. One of the speakers here, Ethan, he started up Charity Ball, which is an organization that gives soccer balls to impoverished people in poor countries, which is a great idea. He did this when he was 10. Okay? So if he can do that, set up a global network like that, then you can definitely make a difference in your world. Other people, and this is all thanks to Westside Bros, that I was able to be connected to all these people. Mary, a girl named Mary from Georgia, she has led a campaign that promotes people to think before they shoot, because gun violence is a huge problem in her area. She says that she's been to more funerals than graduations. I don't think anyone should go to more funerals than graduations. My friend John from North Carolina, he set up a national forum for teenagers to talk to other teenagers about anything really, and they give advice to each other. Anything from coming out to their parents, telling them that they're gay, to, hey, my boyfriend broke up with me. Stuff like that. Anything really. If you think you're too old to make a difference, that hey, I'm in the last years of my life. No, you aren't. See, you aren't young enough to have a new beginning, but you're never old enough, you're never too old to make a new ending for yourself. You can always make a new ending. You can start today. You can start right after this conference. See, I think that everyone in the audience should not only listen to what I have to say, what the other great speakers here have to say, but you should go back to your homes, go back to your schools, and think, how can I apply what I learned at this conference to my life? You have to apply everything you learned to your life. That's why you're here. You aren't here to just kill a few hours for the weekend. I'm sure you have a lot of fun things to do, the Michigan game. But you're here, and you're here for a reason. And I hope that reason is that you're going to take what you learned here today and use it in your life. If you want to remember that you can make a difference in your world, please remember what the Transportation Safety Administration says about the matter. If you see something, say something. And it doesn't just apply to packages or baggage that is left unclaimed. You can do it to anything. Any problem really. It doesn't have to be bullying. It can be whatever you want. Anorexia. If you see someone who's anorexic, if you see someone who has self-esteem problems, go ahead and help them. See, the thing is that people who are victims of a problem are the people who have the hardest time fighting the problem. They already have enough on their plate. You can't expect them to be a victim of the problem. That's a huge helping right there. And then solve the problem. You don't have to be a victim to solve a problem. Go out there. If you see a problem, you don't have to be a victim of it. And say, I'll help that person out. Go out and help someone else. Thank you.